Hey guys, this is Mr. Grice for Algebra Unit 2, Review A. Remember to show your work and to write your answers on the lines provided. Alright, so number 1 says using the graph below, write the coordinates of point A and B as an ordered pair. So A is right there, and that is going to be the point -3, because we had to go 1, 2, 3 to the left, and then 5, 6, 7. So the point -3, 7. Point B is, oops, where are you, point B? Right there. And for point B, you should say that that is the point 8, -3, because we had to go to the right 8 and down 3 to get there. Now, the following point is in quadrant 3. So what point is in quadrant 3? Remember, if you don't know the quadrants, remember it goes 1, 2, 3, and then 4. So there's only one point in quadrant 3, and that is point D. In quadrant 4, there's only one point, and that is point B. And what point's on the x-axis? Now, if you forget which one's the x, the y goes vertical and the x is horizontal. And so the point, I'm sorry, that's on the x-axis is f. Now, the domain of the function, that means we need to know all of the x values. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of write down what all of my points are, so I just know everything. This is the point -6, 0. D is -5, -7. We already did A. A was -3, 7. C is 0, 3. E is 4, 7. And then B is, we already did that one, 8, -3. Okay, so the domain, we would say that the domain equals the x values, and we just write them in order. -6, -5, -3, 0, 4, and 8. And then all of the y values in order, which would be -7, -3, 0, 3, and 7. Remember, if it's twice, we don't have to write it. So, is this a function, yes or no? Yes, it is. Why? Well, if you look, if you do the vertical line test, no 2 points are on top of each other. So is it a function? Yes, because it passes the vertical line test. Okay, so for number 2, it says graph the following line by completing the table of values. So they're asking us to use the table. So we have to show some work. So when they tell us the x, that's when we simplify. When they tell us the f of x, the y, that's when we solve. Okay? So we'll do 2 together and you can do 1 by yourself. So A, okay, we'll just label these A, B, C. A, when we do it, they're saying f of -2 equals 3 of 2 times -2 minus 5. So we have to plug in -2. Okay. 3 over 2 times -2 is -3. And then -3 minus 5 is -8. So f of -2 equals -8. So if you want to go ahead and put that point, -2, -8, there it is. Okay, for B. Now B we have to solve. They're saying that 1 equals 3 over 2x minus 5. So now I have to solve. So when I'm solving, I add 5 to both sides. 1 plus 5 is 6, which equals 3 over 2x. And then to get the x by itself, we have to multiply by the reciprocal. 2 times 6 is 12. 12 divided by 3 is 4. So 4 equals 1. So we have the point 4, 1. Okay, now you guys are doing the last one. You guys are doing C. We'll set it up. We know that 7 equals 3 over 2x minus 5. So go ahead and solve. Pause the video and good luck. Okay, and you should have gotten the 0.87 for that last one. So the last thing we have to do is graph, now that we've got our line. And there we go. Okay. So number 3 says to graph the line 2x minus 4y equals negative 12. Then identify the x and y intercepts. So when we do that, one time we let the x equal 0 and solve, and then we do it again, but that time we let the y equal 0. Okay, so 2 times 0 is 0, and we're left with negative 4y equals negative 12. Divide by negative 4, and we get that y equals 3. Okay, and remember that that's y equals negative, or no, because negative divided by negative is positive. So that's the point 0, 3. That is my y-intercept. Now my x-intercept, those cancel. So we have 2x equals negative 12, and then divide by 2. We get that x equals negative 6. And remember, that's the point negative 6, 0. Okay, so negative 6, 0, 0, 3. There is my 2 points. And then I use my straight edge to draw my line. Okay, number 4. 4 is asking us to calculate the slope of the given points. Okay, so for letter A, there are my 2 points, and I just need to do slopes. So I go up 2, 1, 2, 3 over 3. This is rising, so I know it's going to be positive, and I cannot reduce 2 over 3. So there we go. B, right away, I know that it's horizontal. And before I even begin, I know that the slope of a horizontal line is 0. Okay, for C, we have to do the equation. Okay, so remember, I'll write it up on the top in case you guys forgot. It's y2 minus y1. So that's 2 minus 4. And then on the bottom, it's x2 minus x1. So I have negative 8 minus 6. So 2 minus 4 is negative 2. Negative 8 minus 6 is negative 14. And I can reduce that to a 1/7 is our final answer. Okay? So D, why don't you guys pause the video and see if you can do D all on your own. Good luck. Okay, so on the top you get negative 8, and on the bottom, remember when you're plugging in a negative, that turns to a positive. So negative 3 plus 3 is 0. You cannot divide by 0, so that's an undefined slope. Okay. Okay, so question number 5 is a very popular one for a test. So let's make sure that we read through everything very carefully. It says graph a vertical line through the point 2, -4. So the first thing I'm going to go to is I'm going to go to 2, -4, which is right there. And then it asks me to graph a vertical line. Now the V in vertical tells me that I need to go straight up and down. Okay, so there is my vertical line. Now it says graph the line y equals 3. So y equals 3, that is a horizontal line. So I'm going to go to where y is 3 using my straight edge, and I graphed that line. Now I want to know the point of intersection. Okay, so that point right there, that is the point 2, 3. All right, 6. Write 3x minus 9y equals -18 in slope-intercept form. Remember that slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So I need to solve for y. To solve for y, I'm going to subtract the 3x to the other side. So I have -9y equals -3x minus 18. To get the y by itself, I need to divide everything by -9. And then we get that y equals, we need to reduce that fraction to 1/3 x plus 2. So y equals 1/3 x plus 2. All right, 7, graph the following equation by using the slope and y-intercept. So the first thing I look for is my slope. My slope is a -2/3. That tells me I'm going down 2 to the right 3. And my y-intercept is 0, 8. Okay, so remember that 0, 8, that's where we begin our graph. And then I go down 2/3. Down 2/3. Down 2/3. And try to go in both directions. Now that we've got all of the points, we can use our straight edge to graph. Okay, a line has a slope of 5/9 and passes through the point 10, -3 and x, -3. Oh, this is where we have to find that missing variable, right? Ah, okay, so this is what we do. We said 5, oops, too big. 5/9 is equal to, and then we follow our slope formula. So on the top, I have -13 minus -3, so that turns to plus. And on the bottom, we have x minus 10. So the first thing we want to do is to simplify that. -13 plus 3 is -10. And then I have x minus 10 on the bottom. Okay, we put the x minus 10 in parentheses, and then we cross multiply to get -90 equals 5 times x minus 10. Okay, and now we just solve for x. So I'm going to distribute the 5 to get 5x minus 50. Ooh, excuse me. So then we're going to add 50 to both sides. -50 or -90 plus 50 is -40. And then to get the x by itself, we divide both sides by 5. And we get that x equals -8. Okay, so there we go. Our missing coordinate is -8. Okay, so use the functions. We have f of x, g of x, and h of x. So the first one says find f of -1. Okay, so I'm going to take f of -1 and I'm going to plug it into the equation. We got -1, -1, and -1. And now we're just doing order of operations to solve everything. So I have 13 minus 5 times -1 plus 4, and -1 squared, -1 times -1 is a positive 4. Okay. After that, we're going to multiply from left to right. So I have 13, and that's -5 times -1, which is a positive 1, plus 4 times 1. And then I have another multiplication, so that's 13 plus 1 plus 4 times 1 is 4. Okay, so we have 13. Oh, I'm sorry, I wrote a 1, and that should have been a 5. Hopefully you guys were yelling at me. So then we just add all that stuff up together. So we get f of -1 equals 13 plus 5, which is 18, plus 4 is 22. Okay. So for B, we have f of x minus h of x. So f of x is the 13 minus 5x plus 4x squared minus h of x, which is -7x plus 9. Okay, so nothing really happens with my first set of parentheses. That stays the same. But on the back, we have to distribute a negative, so that turns to a positive 7x and a -9. And now we find like terms. Okay, so the 4x squared doesn't have a partner, so that kind of comes down by itself. After the 4x squared, I've got -5 plus 7. -5 plus 7 is positive 2x. And then last, I have 13 minus 9, and 13 minus 9 is 4. So my final answer would be 4x squared plus 2x plus 4. Okay, for the last one, they're saying find x when g of x equals 0. Okay, so they're saying that, remember, this is our x and this is our y, so 0 equals 2/3 x plus 8. Okay, and then we just solve. So I'm going to subtract 8 to both sides. 0 minus 8 is -8, and that equals 2/3 x. And to solve, I need to multiply by the reciprocal. 3 times 8 is 24. 24 divided by 2 is 12, and it is a -12. Okay? Right? I just want to make sure that we did that. Oh, okay. Mr. Grice, once again, with my limited vision, it's an 18, Mr. Grice, not an 8. Okay, so that's 18. Thankfully, we saw that before we moved on. So as I'm loading up my calculator real quick, I'm going to quit this screen. It's -, 18 times 3 over 2, and we get -27. Right? Am I right that it's negative? No, because I'm also forgetting my signs. It is not a good morning for Mr. Grice today. So that's, subtraction. So we had to add it. We had to add it. That's positive. So this is going to be a positive 27. Okay? Guys, thank you very much for hanging in with me for that one. You know, you'd think I'd be awake at 8:10, but I guess it just doesn't happen today. All right. So last one. For her birthday, Selena received a total of $300. Nice. From various friends and family members. If she spends, okay, that's a keyword, spends $200 each week for personal expenses, which equation best represents the amount Selena will have left? So, do you think it's A or do you think it's B? Okay, now why? Well, she's spending money, so should she have a positive slope or a negative slope? Yeah, she's spending it, so that is a negative. All right, so to defend it using an answer, we would say, since she is spending money, the slope should be negative. Okay, and that's where that negative 20x comes into play. Okay. All right, guys, well, that's it for Algebra Unit 2 Review A. If you have any questions, please come see Ms. Carranza or myself. We would love to help you out. Otherwise, this is Mr. Grice signing off. Thanks for watching.